Hi, you are watching SightsIn Plus, and this is Romesh Vastu. Please to subscribe the channel for the HR news, for HR updates, and conversation with the top-notch CHROs, thought leaders, and business heads. Today, we are going to discuss employee mindset, and especially we are talking about the period for returning to normal after the pandemic. And to help us, we have a legend HR thought leader. Let me introduce Dr. T.V. Rao. He is also known as the father of HR in India. Dr. T.V. Rao is currently working as a chairman at T.V. Rao Learning Systems Private Limited, and he is also the ex-professor of IIM Ahmedabad. Welcome, Dr. T.V. Rao, and thank you so much for considering our invitation.
Thank you. I think you're doing a good job. I've seen a few of your videos, and I think that's wonderful. Yeah, please. It's a pleasure to be with you.
In last couple of years, especially if we talk about returning to normal after the pandemic, we have seen a lot of cultural issues. We have seen a huge drop in the employee engagement. We have seen some trust deficit as well between the employer and employee. I think we have seen also a lot of buzzwords, you can say, kind of moonlighting, like quiet quitting. The dimensions of career is also changed for the employees as well, and maybe also for the employers. How do you see what is the mood of employees, or how you can say the mindset of employees currently?
I think I would like to trace it very much to what happened during the pandemic period. I think what happened during the pandemic was most people were living by themselves, and with very limited resources, were able to manage their life almost for 2.5 years extremely well. I'll tell you my own case. We were three in our family living in Ahmedabad. For 6 months, we were in Ahmedabad. Later, we shifted to Bangalore because the way things were going on, both my daughters who were in Bangalore said, "You don't know what is going to happen when, so better come closer to us." That's how we came here. But my experience during the pandemic was that 3 to 5 people can live very happily without going out anywhere, with your gadgets in your home. You are interacting with people, doing webinars, doing all kinds of things, and all that you needed. If you have a decent place to live, is something like about 10 to 15,000 rupees a month. 10 to 15,000 rupees a month, which means per individual, if you have a house, you didn't need transport, you didn't need anything else. I think it's on an average with 5,000 rupees, you have had a very decent living because you're doing everything yourself. So those 2 years of experience of doing everything online, and at the same time not needing any great kind of resources for you, has built a new level of confidence among employees. All people, new level of confidence. We can live, we can manage anything, because that was a big crisis we went through. And the other thing that happened was that people have become extremely health conscious. Extremely health conscious. It's very important. In fact, if you recollect, I have reviewed the Maslow's need hierarchy, and I have stated that there are only now 3 categories of needs. You don't need 5 categories of needs. And if you recollect from some of my posts, first thing I said is need for survival. You should be able to survive. You should live. If you can ensure that you are surviving, that is a survival need. That means you are healthy, you have enough food to eat, etc., etc. The next level of need comes as need for security, where I said the security is that you want to continue to be healthy, continue to live longer, continue to have economic security, and a little bit of employment security and emotional security which comes up from your family. Family became very important. Relatives, friends, and others who took care of you during those 2.5 years became very important. Relationships, quite unlike what used to happen earlier, relationships. So health, relationship, survival. Now, if you have met both these needs, need for survival and need for, I think, security, then I said you only need the third level need for establishing your identity, need for identity. Any employment, any profession, anything that you take, you want to, the human being, a man, is constantly searching for establishing his or her own identity. Identity can be in any profession or even outside the profession. Everyone wants to be known, to know, to do something meaningful, etc., including a daily wage laborer, agriculture farmer, a horticulture man, or an employee, and so on. So post-pandemic, people have entered back into the organizations with this ability to sacrifice many needs. You don't need anything. So that has given a good sense of independence. I want to do something. I want to be independent. What is the purpose of life? The other things that post-pandemic in the last maybe couple of years, I think the pandemic started sometime in early 2020, 21, 22. I think we were out of it by about the end of 22, last 1.5, 2 years, if we look at it. I think skills have become important. Skill development has become important. And the professions in the past, which used to be called as great professions, have lost their value. You can get into anything. If you have a skill, it doesn't matter. Quite unlike in the olden days, you should be a doctor or you want to be a CEO. I think many people, started perceiving CEO is a big responsibility, because see the number of things you will have to do to be a CEO. Because you have to take care of the health of the people, you have to take care of the government, you have to take care of taxes, you have to take care of, not only that, I think you have to take care of community, a whole lot of things. So I think if a responsible position at a very top level meant a lot of burden. Now that is what is happening at one level. But another level, most employees were saying that it doesn't matter whatever organization I am in with, my organization should take care of me in terms of my health, in terms of my emotional needs, in terms of my security needs, and so on. So there is a newfound independence, which I think people started, newfound identity, which people started seeking. That is where I think I don't like using the term employees become more demanding. No, employees have become more choices, and they're willing to shift their choice if they find that something they are doing is not meaningful, is not giving them identity. It doesn't matter. You can with ease shift from logistics to production, from production to HR, from HR to marketing, or marketing to HR. I think anything. So the world has thrown wide open the choices that are available to people. That is why now organizations are saying that you need to create employee experience. What is employee experience? Employee experience means please try to understand what is the talent that your people have. And talent, quite unlike in the past, is not channeled in one direction. You have taken, you have studied, you have become, I mean, if you look at a professional manager with an MBA can be in any sector. Suddenly he might discover that from logistics is very, very important. Or he might discover, forget about production, you may be doing well in a healthcare industry and you want to shift to our media industry, or from media industry you want to shift to a hotel industry. I think the versatility of people and the ability of organizations to absorb and also respect the new talent has gone up. That is why today you find that people are talking of employee experience and there is no clear-cut rules. This is because people are talented and are constantly searching for discovering more talent and avenues for expressing themselves. So this is a newfound expression of talent, and people are multiplying their talent. You will find that people are changing left and right their jobs. In fact, if you recollect, one of the lessons we had drawn from our book on leaders in the making is the versatility with which the HR guys have shifted their jobs, of course, within HR. In fact, recently there was a very interesting video that was put up saying that most HR people, I mean, this is the global scenario, not true very much in India, but I don't totally rule this out, to say that if somebody has gotten into recruitment lifelong, he was into recruitment. This is not good. If somebody has got into performance appraisal or L&D, he or she has been into L&D. He said, this does not help you to build yourself. You work for, you must be able to perceive interlinkages between all HR disciplines. So don't spend your time only in recruitment. I think soon you should move on to induction. From there, you should move on to culture, maybe move on to talent management in a broader sense, move on to L&D. So all systems are interdependent. This is what this theorist says. So a good HR person should be able to embrace anything in HR and see the interlinkages between these. That is why they are trying to say HR is not anymore subsystem driven. It is driven by interdependencies and things like that. Same thing in a broader level is happening in organizations. So it's not enough to be a finance manager. You have to be people driven. In fact, yesterday in my own colony where I am living, two of the chartered accountants offered a career counseling session to the youngsters in the colony. And there were about 20 to 30 youngsters. The kind of questions they were asking is very important. You know the conclusion by these two chartered accountants? They said, well, there are only two things that are important in running business: people and money. And even if the money part of it you can acquire to chartered accountancy and a lot of skills, but values you cannot acquire. They said cultivate these values. And in fact, some of them started saying, be honest, be truthful, learn to respect other people, be empathetic. Now imagine the chartered accountant speaking this kind of a language. Now that is the way the world is changing. I think it is in my view, it has opened up. It is a talent era. People can constantly discover large part of their talent and be able to be flexible, apply, and become successful. I don't know if whatever I'm talking makes sense to me, but this is broadly my perception of the current situation.
So what I've picked up with your response that people are more independent right now. They are
Yes.
feeling, they are trying to find out the purpose of the work. And is
Yes.
there any disconnect between the employer and employer? Why there's a trust deficit? The way we are getting the communication from the leaders in organization. So this shows some cultural business. How do you see this?
See, part of this trust deficit, perceived trust deficit, is happening because of flexibility of employment and the speed with which people are willing to give up a particular job for their own choices, whatever choices are. I think today family has become an important part of their choice. Healthy living has become an important part of the choice. Having a sense of satisfaction of applying talent has become an important part of choice. So those people who feel frustrated soon, I mean, people also get saturated. Suppose you are a great expert in one particular field. You have done a great job in 6 months' time. You're great in sales, you're great in marketing, or you're great in strategic planning or financial management, whatever you're great. In 6 months' time, you already reach a saturation point. If not 6 months, 1 year. Maximum maybe after a year and a half. But people are expecting fast rewards. And rewards are not merely in terms of, you can either go big rewards. You can't become a millionaire overnight. But you may be having small rewards, give you more freedom, more independence. Quite unlike in the past where you have to slog and after 3 to 5 years you expect a promotion. Today, that's not the culture. The culture is, I want to have more say, I want to have more freedom, I want to have more opportunity to discover what I'm good at. So as a result of this, people are quitting jobs wherever they find they have reached a saturation point, and they reach the saturation point relative in a short period of time. So as a result of this, the top management of most organizations are not able to rely heavily on an employee who says that I'm going to stick to a company, I'm going to be here, I'm devoted to you, and things of that kind. It's not his or her fault. I mean, that is what it is. Why the opportunities are wider for a competent person. So the trust deficit is really an emergence of the exercise of independence and flexibility on the part of employees. Now tell me, why should I stick to a company after a year when I find that I have reached my saturation? I can do probably better in some other place who is offering me a different kind of responsibility, and I want to try out in a different area which I have not so far seen, and things like that. I'll tell you an example, a very interesting example. About a year ago, somebody year and a half ago, somebody came to me for some kind of counseling. A HR guy, he wanted to shift his state from the state where he is currently employed to a state where, which is his own kind of a state. So at the end of it, I think we both concluded, while he will be getting about double or triple the salary in the state where he is planning to go, he may not be, I mean, a known devil sometimes is better than an unknown God. So he may not be all that greatly off if the current organization gives him an opportunity to totally get into different thing. I met this person just a couple of weeks ago. He mentioned to me he was put in charge of production. A HR guy who never he was more an IR guy. He was put in charge of production. In the last 1 year, he has shown phenomenal amount of results in the company. I mean, it's mind-boggling the kind of results he has shown. And I don't think he got any big salary increase. He got only a slight, but he was beaming with enthusiasm. He said, I made the right decision of not shifting the job because my company has put me into the right kind of a place. This is the kind of a talent discovery that is going on. So if organizations recognize that people are talented and don't put them in a box, you are trained in HR, therefore for life you are going to be HR. You're trained in accountancy, for life you're only going to be, or you're trained in production, for life you're going to be. So I think that mindset has to change. If you change the mindset and if you respect talent, and organizations look at people as people, that's a wonderful thing that could happen. So the trust deficit to me is an expression of flexibility, need for independence, and exercising this flexibility, which on the part of the top management and other people, they are calling it trust deficit. I think we need to change our trust and say, we trust the talent of people. If a talented person, if I'm not able to give enough opportunities here, we'll find somewhere else. I think we should give up that mindset that for life or even for 2 to 3 years, somebody is going to be committed to a company. So the trust deficit comes from this mindset that we have. Somebody joins the company should be there because I am taking good care of it. I think the whole world is now of a different order. I don't know if it makes sense, Ramesh.
Then yeah, of course, that makes sense. And now let's also discuss some technological part. So in last 15 months, we have
Yes.
seen also a lot of emerging technologies, especially if we are talking about the generative AI. And that has also transformed whole the work and sometimes also the workplace. How do you see it has also changed the employee mindset in terms of the work?
Employee mindset, I think there are a lot of misconceptions, at least in the last 1 month. I think these misconceptions are getting clarified. I mean, earlier it would have taken some couple of years for the misconceptions to be clarified. If you remember, I think when the computers were introduced in our country, particularly if you look at the banking system, the number of years it took for banks to accept, because they all operated with the myth that computers are going to reduce employment, which was not true. In fact, I think the Reserve Bank and others have appointed committees. So the world has shown totally a different kind of experience. It took almost about 15 to 20 years for people to recognize that technology made a lot of difference. But now, I think one has been hearing about AI for less than maybe a year, and it started with ChatGPT. In the last 1 month, I think from ChatGPT, we have graduated to a variety of at least thoughts about AI and things of that kind. And again, you would be quite surprised if I tell you that last night, a 9th or 10th grade student was asking the chartered accountants a question about the importance of AI in chartered accountancy. And one of the chartered accountants replied saying that I'm already using it. Earlier, people used to come to me for asking questions. Now I have put all the questions in one place. There is a chat GPT. I tell them, put the question here. You get an answer to this. Okay. A 9th standard student asking this, a chartered accountant using AI. Now, I'm not very sure. Now, this may be true with maybe 10% of the employees. I'm still not sure. This is a hunch I have. 90% of employees still don't know what AI is. But they only have the fear, what the kind of a fear that somebody may have had in early years. But I think that will soon get eliminated, and people will start discovering what a wonderful thing AI is to record, to discover yourself, to discover more about your company, discover about your profession and things like that. I think technology is becoming important, but I don't want to say people have really yet recognized the potential of AI. For that matter, I also don't think that AI itself has another 4 or 5 years to go in terms of discovering many new things. For example, I mentioned the other day, I referred to the 1975 report. Both Uday Parikh and I gave to Larsen Tobro when I said, the moment an employee leaves the company, that's when we talked of assessment centers, potential appraisal, performance appraisal, and a whole lot of integrated HRD systems. Our pointer at the time was you should have a centralized data system in which you document the competencies. Those days we didn't use the term competency, attributes of individuals and the attributes required to perform each role. And the moment an employee leaves your organization, at the press of the button, the computer should give you a list of employees who have similar attributes required for this job and will be able to list in a kind of a ascending descending order, and also will tell you what are the developmental actions you have to take if you appoint this employee. Mind you, this is 1975, but till now there is no system that has evolved. Whether you go to some of the top IT companies and so on, they are still struggling. But that is the objective with which AI is operating. That maybe a few years, 3 to 4 years from now, you will have AI, that is what artificial intelligence would mean, where I think at the press of the button, the moment you need somebody to recruit or somebody leaves your company, you can get from across the globe what are the kind of talent that is available and things like that. So that is the possibility. People are slowly recognizing this possibility. I don't think even HR profession has done enough in terms of trying to see the potential of AI. A basic thing, Ramesh, I have been telling for the last at least several months to our HR friends that you must start preparing a detailed coding of the competencies or attributes of individuals from the time of birth till the time whatever the person is. The moment you start coding this, our human resource information system, don't look at human resource only from a role part of it. From standard 1, standard 2, standard 3, whatever I think the individual is going through. In a year, there are 365 days. In 365 days, you may have 365 data points. So in 20 years of life, 30 years of life, multiplied by 365 data points. Suppose you have all these data points, AI is going to give you phenomenal amount of information about individuals. But I am yet to see any HR guy. Why we're talking about individual? Even the last employment, our records are simply limited to a predetermined set of biographic information. You are garbage in, garbage out. So you're not preparing for the AI. I think it's high time that both HR as well as everyone else start preparing culturally for this transformation and be prepared to use AI for multiplying talent, for discovering new talent, nurturing talent, and coming up with so many other applications for building talent. And that is the way I see it. Again, I don't know if I responded to your question, but I think the culture mindset, I think we still have some way to go. I think the beginnings are good. Many people are appreciating AI. Right now, it is a white elephant, but soon I think that it will be demystified. This is what I
year,
feel.
especially 2024, the companies are working for the integration of generative AI. Last year, 2023, just we have talked about the generative AI. What is the generative AI? What will the benefits? Just planning. But now the implementation has started with a lot of companies. Even with the HR people, they are also implementing the generative AI in their HR process. Now, we have only a couple of minutes left now. So I would like to cover one more question if you can.
Rapid fire. You can have rapid fire.
Right. Currently, a lot of improvement is there also in gig economy, especially the IT companies, tech companies, some e-commerce companies, some online kind of internet-based companies. They are recruiting the gig workers. How do you see this influence the mindset of employees? How do you see this change, this transformation?
I think this is going to increase. If you recollect, again, I'm going back to this, a small insight we got from leaders in making, that when I think the students were given, as students, some of the leaders were given projects, it is the projects they taught them a lot. Now today, the project-oriented employment is going to become more and more of the order of the day, because you can measure the output pretty fast, very easily, discover your talent. If you don't like it, you can move and so on. I don't think that gig employment is going to totally replace what the current kind of a thing, because you still need committed people who have passion, who will be working for long years with the same kind of a company and so on. The percentages may shift. Yeah, like if you have about 30% employees on a full-time basis working with organizations and so on, maybe 70 will be on a project basis, gig employees and so on. That is likely to be. Now, these percentages are approximate. It could even be 10% more permanent, passionate people who are on a totally different kind of incentive system, and 90% are on the if you, consulting companies are a good example. I think most consulting companies have moved into project-based employment. They don't anymore take. I think they have a large number of people who are part-time consultants who are available on call and so on. So that could happen with quite a few of the organized kind of a sector. I am very positive about it. I think it is good. I'm not at all against it. It's good because projects also give you immediate feedback. You discover your talent, and I think the results can be seen. And that is what I feel.
Right. And this is very also industry to industry wise, role to role wise. So this is, I think, also important factor when we're talking about the gig economy.
Yes, some industries with, particularly in manufacturing, with high, I think, technology and other kind of skills that are required, you will have to have a good set of people. Your employment terms might change. You may start giving more respect to those people who stick with you than what is happening now. You may have to come up with new rules and things of that kind. Yeah,
right.
Sure. I agree with you. It will vary from industry to industry.
Thank you so much, Dr. T.V. Rao, for joining the conversation and sharing your wonderful thoughts. Thank you so much.
Well, I hope this is of some use to you. Very nice of you to have asked me on a terrain which is only my imagination. I hope these are of some use. Thanks, Ramesh. Wonderful, and all the best. All the best for your team.